Yasmine just dropped, and reception of this character has been mixed to say the least. Some people are saying she's really, really weak. Some people saying she's really boring, and she's also the only character so far since Alex release that hasn't cracked the concurrent player numbers on Steam for this game. So it seems like she isn't really too popular. But as the days have gone on, my opinion has gone up and down. It's been like a teeter-totter. I've been changing a lot. And in this video, I hope to answer the question, is she good? Now, again, this is just my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right, and I think it's important to discuss our ideas because that's how we kind of like grow and learn new things by discussing. If I'm wrong about the tier placement or the strength of this character, that's okay with me. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just saying this is how I feel right now a few days after her release. So let's take a look at her strengths and her weaknesses, so then hopefully by the end of this video you guys will understand more about this character and whether or not she's the right character for you. Anyways, with that over with, let's get into her strengths and weaknesses. Alright, so Yasmine's strengths. Obviously, I think this goes without saying, she has really good walk speed, especially her forward walk speed. This character is really good at playing footsies. She's kind of like a neutral beast, so this walk speed is really good. A lot of her normals might seem a little bit on the stubby side, but having that fast walk speed kind of makes up for it and allows you to play a little bit aggressive and kind of getting into your opponent's space. Combined with that walk speed is her really fast neutral drive rush. I think this is only slightly slower than M. Bison. It is lightning fast. She just like yeets all the way across the screen, and this lets you set up your pressure, get in, you know, do all that great neutral drive rush stuff. So yeah, her drive rush is definitely one of the strongest in the game. Next is going to be ease of use. So I think this character is really easy to play. Of course, she has kind of like a traditional Shoto kit with her crouching medium kick, which is like, you know, drive rush cancelable. She has an invulnerable Shoryuken with the regular version that's air invulnerable and the OD version, which is completely invulnerable. So that part's really easy. Her normals are like pretty standard Shoto stuff, crouching like medium punch, crouching medium punch is really good, standing medium kick is really good, you know, standing heavy punch is also really good. So I think she's just really easy to understand. Now, she does have a really untraditional fireball, but this isn't something you're going to be really using for zoning and spacing so much. It's not really that kind of fireball. And I think that makes it easier, especially for like beginner or intermediate players. In my opinion, having a fireball makes it actually kind of harder to learn a character, because knowing when you should or shouldn't throw a fireball takes a lot of practice. Like for those of us who've been playing fighting games for a long time, it seems like second nature. So the fact that she doesn't have a traditional fireball, I think is kind of a positive for her, because it does make her a little bit easier to play and easier to understand when you're supposed to go in. Also, she has invulnerable supers. Her level 1, while it has very little range, it's also invulnerable 7 frames, so you can't safe jab it on knockdown. You know, she's just pretty easy to play on defense and offense. You know, you just get in, do what you gotta do. Alright, and mentioning offense, this character checks all of the Street Fighter 6 isms box. She has a great neutral drive rush, she has a cancelable crouching medium kick into drive rush, and of course she has a throw loop. Yay! Yes, she has a throw loop. Although I do think her throw loop is a little bit on the weaker side, but I mean, having a weaker throw loop is better than not having one at all. So yeah. Okay, another strength that she has is corner carry, but only when she's in her powered up state. So it's kind of like a little bit of a caveat there. But yeah, she does have good corner carry when she has her powered up state. Here's an example of a really simple combo that basically does full screen carry. Then after this level 1, you just forward dash. And then here you're too far to actually do anything. Like you don't get a meaty throw, but you did do full corner to corner carry for 4 bars of drive rush and 1 bar of super. So not too expensive. And for full corner carry, yeah, it's definitely worth the meter and drive that you're spending. And another big strength of Yasmine is that she always hits the like and subscribe button on Chris F's videos, because she knows it's easy to do and helps support him and make more videos. It's hard to say without laughing. I don't know. You guys know what to do. And her next strength are her buttons. I gotta say, they look a lot shorter than they actually are. So first, starting off with her crouching medium kick, which I'm sure everybody wants to know about, it is just slightly less range than Akuma's crouching medium kick. So you see there, Akuma can hit me. Although I think the big one is her crouching medium punch. So crouching medium punch looks like it's a really short button, but it's actually not. It's got kind of like a bit of a phantom hitbox to it. So if we go over here, you'll see I can hit Akuma, but if Akuma tries to do it to me, his crouching medium punch whip. And another character that has a really cracked out crouching medium punch is Terry. And look at this. Hers is longer than Terry's crouching medium punch. So yeah, just a really, really good button. So she got a ton of other buttons like standing medium kick, standing heavy punch. But yeah, she's just a footsie's beast, and her buttons, while they look like they're short range, some of them are actually really, really good, especially, like I said, that crouching medium punch. This button is ridiculous. Also 0 on block, by the way. Okay, another thing that's strong about this character is her overhead. Now, this overhead is a little bit slower at 22 frames, but she gets a lot of set play or like Oki situations where she can get enough plus frames to get a meaty overhead into combo, and that's not common for a lot of characters. So that makes her really, really good. On that same note, another thing that's really good about this character is her Oki and her set play. She's got a ton of tech that you can use to kind of like mix up your opponent and put them into like hard to guess and hard to block situations, especially in the corner, but we'll get to that later. And I think her biggest strength is going to be her burnout pressure and her level 2. This character, I think, is just a burnout machine, especially when she has access to her powered up mode and her level 2. And I'll show you guys some stuff she can do to get that. So here's an example of a gapless pressure sequence that gets you really good burnout against your opponent. Now just keep in mind, during all of this, I have Terry set to do a reversal ODDP through this, okay? Okay, that was just under 3 bars of drive gauge for the whole thing, and I gained more drive meter than my opponent lost. So that's a really strong sequence. So your opponent can't DP out of that if they didn't, mash DP on wake up after the mix up from the boomerang. And if they don't spend drive reversal, they can't get out of it. But once your opponent is below 3 bars of drive meter, even if they spend drive reversal there, it's really good for Yasmine. So yeah, her burnout pressure is fantastic if you know how to root into it. Alright, so now let's talk about Yasmine's weaknesses. So I think this has to be mentioned first. She has horrible range on her 4-frame crouching light punch. This thing goes absolutely nowhere. It is really, really bad. If you're off by just a little bit, it'll whiff and that can mess up your combos. And it's also really bad in defense when you're kind of in the corner and you're trying to stop someone from walking in. It's really common to try to do like a delayed jab, like a fuzzy jab, and it just whiffs altogether. So yeah, her crouching light punch range is really bad. That's a big weakness. Alright, the second big weakness, which is a huge one as well, is her low damage output, especially if she doesn't have her powered up state. So this thing right here. You do any special move, you kind of get a powered up state. Now her knife is glowing. Outside of this mode, her combo damage is really, really low, below average. And even with this mode, you kind of cap out just below like 6,000 damage, even if you're spending like CA and all of your super and all of your drive. So she doesn't have the really big like Ryu or like Sagat style damage that a lot of the top tiers in this game have. She does have a lot of mix-up opportunities. Her Oki is really strong, and her chances to get in and touch you are also like a lot because she has such a fast drive rush. But yeah, her damage output, even in her powered up state, is pretty low. Okay, another weakness, and again this follows the trend of when she doesn't have her powered up state, is that she has no safe on block specials that are fast. Okay, yes, if your opponent is blocking and you're able to sneak in this quarter circle back heavy punch, this is +1 on block. But really good opponents will be able to perfect parry against this. They'll be able to do a DI. So it's not exactly a fast move, but outside of this mode, nothing she does is safe. Quarter circle forward light punch is -6. The follow-up is even worse at -12, and that goes for the same for quarter circle forward medium punch, quarter circle forward heavy punch. They're all minus except for the OD version, which is -3 and does keep you outside of throw range if you space it properly, so that's safe. But having to spend 2 bars of drive just to be -3 isn't really that good in a game like this when you have people like Ryu or Akuma who can spend OD meter on fireballs or Hoshogeki to get plus frames. Now when she does have her powered up state, you can spend your powered up state to kind of... Now when she's in her powered up state, you can spend your resources to be like only -1 on the light version of her quarter circle forward, or like -3, or like -2 on the... So you can either be -1, -2, or -3 depending which version you do. The light punch one is always going to be -1 if you spend it, and then the level 3 is going to be... And then the heavy punch version is going to be -3 if you spend this. But again, you're -3 inside throw range, so using your meter for that just to gain safety isn't really that good. So you kind of have to hit confirm your stuff if you want to kind of go into things and not waste all of your powered up states when you're playing this character if you want to go into specials. The next weakness of this character is that she is really bad if you whiff. So as good as her buttons are, stuff like standing heavy punch, standing medium kick, standing heavy kick, another really good button, if you whiff these things, you are going to get absolutely destroyed by a good player because they are very, very easy to whiff punish. And even something like this, if you misspace it, you're -4 up close. So you've got to be a little bit careful with your buttons. If you push this and someone jumps, that's it, you're done. There's no way you're going to be able to get a DP out in time. So you have to make sure that you're actually playing proper footsies, proper neutral, and not just kind of like mindlessly pushing buttons, because you will get whiff punished. On that same topic of things being a little bit difficult, the down input for her fireball is going to give a lot of players a hard time, especially people on like arcade stick. It's just a really awkward input, and I don't know why fighting games are kind of like putting in down inputs. Like Marvel Tokon just came out, and there's a lot of characters that have down inputs. I think it's just an awful input, and I wish they would either do like a half circle or like a half circle back or something. I don't know. I just think down is a really trashy input. It feels bad to do, doesn't feel natural no matter what controller you're playing on, and doing this in a combo can be a bit tricky just because of the input. Alright, and her last big weakness, and I think it's super obvious, is this character is fairly weak when she doesn't have her powered up state. You just have to play a little bit careful in this mode. You gotta like play clean. You can't just go into specials. You have to deal with really low damage output and all that stuff, and you don't get access to your best combos or Oki. However, I will say this character gets a lot of opportunities to get her powered up state, so it's not really the worst thing, and it's not something like Jamie where you have to like stack a bunch of drinks to become a real character. This character, Yasmine, she can get that powered up state really easily, basically off every single combo you do, other than like lights into DP in the corner. But yeah, her unpowered up state is very underwhelming. Alright, next, what is Yasmine's basic game plan? So I think you kind of want to start by playing this character a bit like Cammy. Use her fast walk speed and then just kind of like harass in the mid-range, especially with something like Standing Light Punch. This has just about as much range as Cammy's Standing Light Punch, although this is 5 frames as opposed to 4 like Cammy. But the good thing with this is, just like Cammy, on counter hit, this links into Crouching Medium Punch. And because this links on counter into Crouching Medium Punch, that means meterlessly, you have ways to build up your stocks. So there you go, now I'm powered up, and I didn't even have to spend meter on Drive Rush. I do not think this character is really a Crouching Medium Kick DRC character. You can play her that way, but she needs meter for OD moves and things like that. So I think you're going to be overspending if you do that kind of playstyle. But yeah, harassing with the Standing Light Punch, going into Crouching Medium Punch on counter hit, and then, you know, either going for a quarter circle forward hard punch. But I think quarter circle forward medium punch is better here, because if you do an immediate Drive Rush, you get a meaty overhead, and then you can do all this different kind of mix there. Something like a Sagat mix where you do like low, throw, overhead, hold down back to block their DP. Really, really strong. Then also, if you just want to play like more of a whiff punishing game, you can try to whiff punish with this. And again, with this, you also get that meaty overhead or standing medium kick target combo. Well, this has a little bit more risk because, you know, if you whiff this and you get whiff punish, it's going to be bad for you, but that's really strong too. And then, of course, you know, there are some times when you're going to have to spend meter on Crouching Medium Kick Drive Rush cancel, and that works too, of course. But I think a really good thing with this character is like kind of like whiffing lights in neutral, making your opponent whiff, and then hopefully doing a whiff punish with Standing Heavy Punch, because you get a ton of reward for landing Standing Heavy Punch on punish counter as a whiff punish, because this, again, metersly goes into Crouching Medium Punch, allowing you to build those stocks, and if you already have them, it allows you to just cash out with a combo and then get your stocks back, and then either go for disc or DP on knockdown, and that's 3,452 damage with no meter, and that is abnormally high for this kind of a character. So while she doesn't have like a high damage ceiling, she can't like really pump out the damage. If she lands a punish counter when she has her powered up state, she gets a lot of meterless damage, allowing her to spend her drive meter for things like Oki, drive rush pressure, you know, all that kind of stuff later on when she has you near the corner, and that's when she really shines. And then also for a mid-range plan, if you notice your opponent kind of likes to go for like Crouching Medium Kick and all that kind of stuff a lot, you can try to like do a preemptive or a reactionary Standing Heavy Kick. This also gives you a ton of reward. You know, this gets you your powered up state, gets pretty good corner carry, and you know, if you want to spend extra bar, you know, you can do all this kind of stuff, get even more corner carry, that stuff. So yeah, Standing Heavy Kick really good, but of course, again, if you whiff this, you're in big trouble. So just be careful, but it's really strong. Then if your opponent's playing really defensive, they're not really pushing, and you're not getting those like close standing counter hits that you really need, all you gotta do is once you kind of like scare them in the mid-range by pushing your really good buttons like this and like this and like this, all you gotta do is just Drive Rush in with Light Punch or Crouching Medium Punch. So I think Drive Rush Light Punch is like the star of the show for Yasmine's kit. This leaves her inside throw range, +3. You can shimmy from here, you can frame trap from here, you get really good frame trap combos, you can just go in for a throw. It's just a really good move. And then also Drive Rush Crouching Light Kick, a low, you can mix up, force them to change their parry timings, also +2, which means you can frame trap off of that with Crouching Medium Punch. Just a really good tool. I will say I see a lot of Yasmine players doing drive rush standing hard punch. You get a lot of reward on hit if they don't block this, but you're left like just at the tip of throw range and you're only +1. So like, I don't think it's that strong. And then also if you do drive rush standing heavy punch and your opponent reads it and they neutral jump, you get punished really heavily for that. So I think for Yasmine, just standing light punch and crouching medium punch are really good, especially crouching medium punch, because this leaves you +4 inside throw range. You can shimmy off of this even against immediate throws. This is just crazy, crazy strong. And if you notice your opponents are always trying to like perfect parry you with this, all you gotta do is mix it up with the crouching light kick and you're still really plus. So use those things: drive rush standing light punch, drive rush crouching medium punch, drive rush crouching light kick, and lets you set up all your pressure. And now you're not wasting all your meter on doing crouching medium kick, drive rush slop, and spending 3 bars. Now you're only spending 1 and you're getting just as much reward. Next part of our game plan, it wouldn't be a Street Fighter 6 video if we weren't talking about throw loops. She has a pretty good throw loop. You have to dash forward, and then once you dash forward, you're left at +10, which means you have to manually time a forward walk throw after that. Although it's not that hard. I don't think it's not definitely not like a 1 frame kind of throw loop. So you can just throw, dash in, go for a throw, dash in, go for a throw, and then if you think they're gonna push, you get crouching medium punch, that's +6. So if you're close enough, you can actually get a counter hit, medium punch, do another one, DP, with crouching light punch, that's your frame kill, and you get another throw, or you can try to mix them up with that crouching medium punch for a trade frame trap. So yeah, really, really strong with that kind of stuff. Her corner pressure is really great. Although one bad thing about it, it does lose pretty bad to backdash. So if you try to throw there, you end up about -6. Of course, it's going to depend a little bit on when you push your throw, but generally you're going to be -5, -6. So if your opponent reads throw and they backdash, Yasmine can actually get punished pretty hard for it, which is why I think she has one of the weaker like step throw loops in the game. But again, having it is better than not having it. One thing that I see some Yasmine players doing that I don't think is really going to last that long with this character is doing like really bad fireball setups. This can be reacted to with fast drive rushes, so like Terry could like drive rush and punish her. You do not want to be going for this kind of stuff in neutral too much. Although there is one cheeky thing you can do. It's kind of like a Ryu Hashogeki to fake them out with fireball. You can throw the light one, drive rush in, they try to perfect parry it, you get the punish counter throw. That can work, but I don't think she's really like a fireball in neutral character. And one thing I definitely don't think Yasmine players should be doing is stuff like this. Throw into fireball. This is super, super fake. So if you're a Yasmine player, watch out, because your opponent can just do this and you're done. So don't go for ODDP boomerang. Don't go for forward throw boomerang. Don't go for back throw boomerang. You have to learn your actual safe setups for that. And it's usually off like juggles into standing heavy punch into your frisbee or your boomerang, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, doing that kind of stuff is really weak for this character. Alright, so next let's talk about Yasmine's combo game. So Yasmine's one of the few characters that can link 4 lights into a full combo, kind of like Sea Viper. So look at this, light, crouching light kick twice. This is really privileged. So then you go 2 lights, like a crouching light kick, standing light punch target combo with a quarter circle forward medium into the follow-up. 1,250 damage is not a lot, but it does give you a powered up state. And again, this is really privileged. There are very few characters, I think only Sea Viper, that can do 2 crouching light kicks into a standing jab and get those 4 confirms and then kind of continue a combo. So that's really, really good, even though the damage is low. So definitely on that combo. Same thing with crouching light punch. You kind of always want to end in the target combo with this character just so you can get that forward knockdown, because this thing, the quarter circle forward light punch, when you're not powered up, while it does do more damage, it leaves you +1 in throw range. It's not really that strong. It's better just to get the knockdown, and then if you have drive meter, you can do your pressure after that. Then once you do this quarter circle forward medium punch ender, so after you do this combo, you just want to do an immediate forward dash. The time is a lot sooner than it looks, and then you have +11, and you can do a Kami style setup where you do forward dash, walk forward into meaty throw, strike, throw, shimmy, that kind of stuff. It's really, really good. That's basically the only combo you need with lights, to be perfectly honest with you. Just anything into your standing light punch target combo ender, into quarter circle forward medium punch, and then from there you can either dash forward, or if you want to spend a little bit of drive meter, you can go for a meaty overhead that leaves you +7, which means you go into crouching medium punch, into quarter circle forward hard punch, this, into this, and you get some nice corner carry and some nice damage from that. Or you can just mix up with block, you know, that'll leave you -1, but you're not going to get DP'd. Meaty throw. You can whiff a jab to be +3 or +5 depending on your timing. meaty crouching light kick, all that kind of stuff. Really, really good. Then for DRC combos off of crouching medium kick, you go like this. So you'll be left +6 after this, and it's actually a really good setup because if you go for a meaty standing light punch here, you're actually going to be plus. So here, dash forward, standing light punch, you're left +1 just as I have throw range. The nice thing about this is if your opponent decides to mash, you get +8 on counter hit, which means you can link into crouching heavy punch for really, really big damage. Now you're powered up, so bum, ba, ba, bum, ba. And then you get Oki and setups and all that kind of stuff. Then for punish counter combos, so like a DP, drive rush, like this. Into this. She has other combos. She actually has side switch combos too, but that's more advanced stuff. But if you're just kind of like getting into this character, you kind of want to understand what she can do and is she strong, that's kind of what her basic punish counter combo. And this does, if you didn't notice, 3,510 damage meterlessly, and that's without using any of her powered up states. So her punish counter damage is actually really, really good. Alright, so just to continue on like her overall Oki plan, I think this character is going to do really well against characters that don't have invulnerable reversals, kind of like Dalsum and Bison here, because she has a lot of 10 frame like safe jab setups. So if we get this powered up state, she has really, really easy setups. Here's an easy one that you can do. You just go like this. So if you do this and the opponent decides to wake up with a 10 frame super, you'll be able to block it in time, and you can even parry that to gain all your drive meter back. It's really, really strong. Not only that, she gets some really good options mid-screen with her overhead. So anytime you finish with your quarter circle forward light punch endo, you dash forward once, do an overhead, you're left +5, which means you can link into standing light kick, into her DP, or you can drive rush cancel and go into something like this. So the whole thing would kind of look like this. Dash forward overhead, standing light kick, heavy DP, you dash forward, you're left +2. Or if you want to spend a bit of drive meter, you can do something like this. There, 2,372 damage. Again, on the low side, but having access to that mix is really good. And of course, if you don't decide to do that, this leaves you +42, so you can go for a safe jump instead. Stuff like this. Boom, like that. Or you can double dash. Then if you double dash here, you're left +4, and that gives you really good pressure options too. So she just has tons of set play, tons of things, too much for this video, but I think this character is going to do really, really well against most of the cast. And my final opinion of this character, I think she's actually really good. I can see her being either high, mid-tier, or low A-tier, but I think at the end of the day, this is Street Fighter 6, and having that low damage is really, really going to hold her back at top levels of play when you have like absolute monsters of characters like Ryu and Sagat just pushing buttons and getting like 6,000 damage anywhere and everywhere at 3 bars. That seems to be the meta of this game, and it has been since the beginning. Just having huge damage is really good. And yeah, as good as all of her pressure and her level 2 and her burnout sequences are, again, this game, damage is king. And I think just the fact that she's missing that is really the one thing that's truly going to hold this character back. Otherwise, though, in terms of her kit, I think she's really good. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to her. I think as the weeks and months go on, we're going to find more tech with all this boomerang setups. People are already finding new stuff every day on Twitter and on YouTube. Again, I'll put together a Oki guide in a little bit once I get some more information. I've done some more testing myself. But yeah, I think this character is really, really solid. I think the only problem with this character is that she's just like a little bit too simple on the surface, and she's new. So I think a lot of people haven't really like fallen in love with her yet. But I think my prediction, yeah, I think she's going to be good, but I don't think we're going to see her have a huge impact on the tournament scene. But if you want to play a character that's really solid and plays Street Fighter 6 really well, although just doesn't have a lot of damage, I think Yasmine's a great character for you, and she's really fun to play in my opinion. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, because it helps support me as a content creator and allows me to make more videos like this in the future. But thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.